Alright guys, I'm Carson and I'm here with my brother Colton. Today we are demoing out a Case SR240. This is a brand new, or pretty much brand new machine. We got this machine by Titan Machinery out of Rogers, Minnesota. We were talking to Terry over there as a salesperson. We called Terry at like 9-10 in the morning, and that day around noon, 12:30, he had this machine sitting on our site, and he picked up our old machine to bring it back for some maintenance. So if you guys are in the market for a Case, definitely the guy to talk to if you're in that area. Basically, we're just demoing this Case. We've got 16 hours to put on it. We probably put 8 to 10 on it now. So we're going to give an initial review and first impressions of this machine. The other machine we've been running is a 2003 New Holland LS180, and we've got a 2009 Kage TL130. So we haven't run anything this new, or we're not used to anything this new. So this will be the first time running it. Colton's been running it pretty much. I just drove around a little bit. So we'll go over the machine. Go ahead and start it up, see how it starts without being plugged in and sitting. It's probably, I think they said 15 for a high today. So it should be around 15 degrees now. And it's been lows in the negatives and highs in the negatives for the last week or so. So yeah, we got 16 degrees. When we were talking to the sales rep too, he said these Cases have a feature where they will be very slow in movement and not move much at all until they are warmed up. That's so you can't have your guys just jumping into the machine once it's ice cold, revving the piss out of it and, you know, going to town. They gotta let the thing warm up before it moves at all. Giving her a little spin. Beeper is really loud. All right, so what were your initial thoughts on this, Colton, when you first started driving it the other day when we were snow plowing? Or the first things you noticed about the machine?
Well, for me, I guess the biggest thing was the visibility out of the machine. That's always one of the biggest aspects to a skid steer for me, is to being able to see your surroundings when you're in the operator's seat, being able to safely operate the machine, you know, in whatever environment you're at. So, like I said, that was pretty well. Just the way they got these booms pretty low. There's actually a little gap under here, and you can actually see pretty much, you know, you can kind of see the tires down here, so you can see how wide you can go, or so you don't clip stuff that's really narrow. Visibility out the front is great. You can see, you know, to the sides. Running this 8-foot Kage plow, it's really necessary to be able to, you know, see what you gotta sneak around and park cars, whatever. So I like that. The second thing, I really like what they've done with the lighting, and I'm sure most newer machines are, you know, pretty adequate with the lighting these days. However, we're used to, you know, as you may know, a 2003 New Holland and a 2009 Kage. But like I said, this has got these two lights that shine down the front. They're pretty darn bright. It doesn't sound like much, but that's plenty adequate. They also added these sideways lights that light up pretty much everything to the sides of the machine, which is also pretty important for snow plowing when you got a big plow in the front and you're swinging around in these tight driveways. Basically, you can see, you know, where you're about to be going. Also, they have the tail lights, the red marker lights in the back, and then they have the actual clear lights that light up everything in the back as well. So lighting was pretty well. I like that about it. Now this machine, on paper, it makes 74 horsepower, and it weighs, I believe it's 7,600 pounds roughly.
Right around there.
As it sits right here. Now these wheels and tires are a lot larger than what comes on these stock essentially. So
yeah, I think there was multiple add-ons for weight that they had listed on the spec sheet. Was the wheels and tires, the bigger ones. The glass I actually think was an option on the side glass or something they said was also an option, and then the door as well, which was 75 pounds.
and then
I think they said the shipping weight on this was 7,000 pounds, and with the add-ons it's like 75 or so, and it looks like they have a counterweight, you're saying?
yeah, these look like, I don't know if that's the full deal counterweights, but there's, you know, definitely weight plates there on each side.
Yeah, I don't know if they add on more than that or not.
So
But one of the things I wanted to also mention here was, like Colton was just saying, about the visibility of this machine, whether it's lighting or just being able to see out of it. Case really went out of their way here to make sure they have a highly visible machine. I mean, you can see just how small these pillar pieces are around here.
right.
This is way smaller than any other machine that we've seen so far. It's a lot better than our New Holland. It's a lot better than the Caterpillars. It's a lot better than our Takeuchi as well. So, and then having the side lights on it as well. That's something else we haven't really seen running a lot of older equipment. That just wasn't a thing back then. So you can see they've added a little door, looks like up on the front corner there too, or a little window. So a lot of things they added to make this more visible, make visibility a big part of it here. So what were some of the things I guess you didn't like about it?
You know, that's kind of a tough one because, like I said, we're coming from a little bit older machine. Obviously, this is brand new, so, you know, you're not really exactly comparing stuff, apples to apples, if you will. Just because it's more updated and newer, everything. However, like we did mention earlier, the controls, at least how they're set up now, I'm told they're fully adjustable. The controls are a little laggy, and they do have a little bit of delay, just in the pilot controls themselves. So, I mean, that's probably the biggest, you know, con, I guess you would call it, that I can think of.
Yeah, just from my little bit of time driving it here for the last 10 minutes, I would say that's the biggest downfall of this machine. If that is adjustable and you guys know how to do that, post down in the comments below. Let us know if that is an issue you guys see with your machines. If there's a way to fix that issue or correct that, let us know in the comments, because as of right now, if that machine's going to run like that forever and it's going to have that big of a delay, that's definitely a big hindrance and a reason we wouldn't want to buy this machine. So if there is a way to fix that, please tell us in the comments below. So why don't you jump in there, I guess start this thing up, and we'll drive it around a bit here, and then let's take a look at, let's lift the boom up and see what the height is out of this. This is a radius lift machine. This is not a vertical lift machine, and I believe on the vertical lift machines the booms have a little bit more of an arch to them, so they probably come up here, which might do something with the visibility as well.
So like I said earlier, this machine's rated at 74 horse. I believe that's at the crank. And as some of you guys may know, that's actually right under the 75 horsepower. I think they consider it the exhaust filter or DPF filter emission cap. So this machine, you don't have to add the DEF fluid, which is good. We like that. We don't want to deal with any of that. It usually just causes problems down the line. So, all right, so we just topped in the Case SR240 right now. Close the door here. Let's get her to focus. So basically, this is what we got here. We got the temp controls on the top. You got your bucket unlock, has the hydraulic detach down here. You have your 2-speed light. When you fire it up, that button there, pretty simple. Your little beacon light switch on top, if that's a thing. This is your auto level button for your bucket or whatever you have attached. This is your high flow switch for running different kinds of attachments, like a jackhammer or maybe even like a stump grinder. A couple dummy switches, and here is your wiper switch for your door here. So coming over to the right side, starting at the top, kind of shows you what you have to do to get this thing to run and operate. You have your couple little light up warning lights here. This is like your little coolant temp, hydraulic fluid temp, and a couple different other things, hour meter and whatever. Here is your fuel gauge and temperature readouts, like I said. Here's your pretty much ignition and control panel here, how you start the machine. Got your, you can adjust the pilot controls at how you want them. You can have ISO or pilot style, or you can go to the H pattern, I believe is what they call it, and that's like Bobcat style, they call that. So this controls this side wheel and tire. This controls this side wheel and tire. So, and then of course you have your throttle here. So yeah, and then you also have a foot throttle down below here. Probably can't see it, but yeah. Anyway, just like in your car. So, to fire this thing up, pretty much simple as can be. Power lights flashing, hit that once. Ignition turns on, as you can hear. Fans on, radio's on. Turn that off. Turn that off. And then to start the machine, obviously you just press start. It's a little turnover button. Hold it. And now she's running. Turn this off. You can hear the idle comes up there automatically. Yeah, so I guess on this joystick, like I said, 2-speed. You have your horn. Not exactly sure what this is for. Haven't really read the manual. A couple high flow switches here to run different attachments, like I was saying. Over on the right joystick, you have a parking brake button. So if for some reason you have to apply the parking brake quickly, you just do that. This is your bucket float. So you push that and it releases all hydraulic pressure. This is your hydraulic toggle. So I'll see if I can kind of get it in the shot here. You toggle this, lift the, we'll lift the bucket up, and you push this little paddle here. It's pretty darn touchy, but it's fast and it's pretty easy. Down goes to the right, up goes to the left. Pretty simple. So essentially, before you start messing with any of that, you have to push the button here in which says operate. It's flashing. Kind of see it, there you go. And then once you push that, parking brake light turns off and you have full control over everything. So this machine is pretty much fully loaded interior wise. Heat, air conditioning, obviously. It's got all your 2-speed, high-low. It's got all your high-flow auxiliaries. The seat itself, actually, let's see if I can get under here and focus. The seat itself is actually heated. You can turn that on, and the seat is actually an air ride seat.
So this will be the last day we have this machine. It's going back to Titan Machinery there tomorrow. So let us know what you guys think of this machine. Would you buy one of these? Do you have one of these? What do you think of it? So you can see here though, everything looks pretty easily accessible. Looks like we got a hydraulic filter here. We've got our plug-in down here for the
Block heater.
block heater. We got oil filter there. Fuel filter.
That might be fuel.
Looks like it's got some type of sensor and it might be fuel. Where's our oil filter then?
This is air cleaner.
Air cleaner.
Oil filter.
That big shiny thing in the back is the catalytic converter, I'd imagine. Cadillac converter.
Oil filter's probably down up front somewhere. I know you can flip the cap on these. This is kind of weird. This is actually the diesel fill right here, so it's all locked in here.
Yeah, that's under the grate, locked in. Well, that's kind of nice.
You got to get your diesel can up here. It's kind of high up, but you know you can pretty much rest it up on the radiator. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I don't like that. You have to lift it. This is that switch here we were talking about. Flip that cuts the power to the entire machine. Safety feature if you're leaving it on sites like we don't.
Yep.
So no one steals them.
Yep.